Hi everyone, my name is Mitchell and welcome to my YouTube series on cochlear implants and my journey through the cochlear implant process and just my experiences and details and thoughts all in one place. I decided to make this series because there are a lot of videos out there on the interweb of the initial activation of the implant. You know what I'm talking about, like, the family in the room with the audiologist, and then they turn it on, and everyone's crying, and it's really emotional and happy, and those are great. I love watching those videos, but I just wanted to make a series that documented everything in detail, kind of in one place, and just to maybe help people in the future who are getting implants. Because I know that it would have made me feel a lot more comfortable with the whole process if I had had someone else who had gone through that experience kind of, put it all in one place. So here we go. This first video is going to talk about my hearing loss up until I decided to get the implant. Everything that happened until then and why I decided to get the implant. So I am almost 18 years old. I first started losing my hearing when I was 13, so that was 5 years ago. I have sensory neural hearing loss, progressive sensory neural hearing loss. So it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. It went from mild to moderate to profound to severe. I think I mixed up profound to severe to profound. There we go. That probably doesn't inspire too much confidence in you that I just mixed that up, but it's okay, whatever. So my hearing loss first started at 13, and for 13 to 14 I just had pretty low power hearing aids, and honestly they worked pretty great. With them on, I honestly you couldn't even know that I had hearing loss. They sufficed. I was able to participate in conversations. I could understand the TV without captions. I could hear people from the other room. It was almost like normal hearing. But then it kept getting worse and kept getting worse, and I got higher power hearing aids. And when I entered high school, I started to notice some more problems. Understanding lectures was difficult. Group conversations, group work was hard. I couldn't understand the TV without captions, and it started to get harder and harder. But I didn't make that step to the implant because there were things that I could do to make up for those deficits. I could use captions on the TV. I could ask people to repeat themselves. I have a cart writer at school. If you don't know what that is, it's like a live captioning person who just types everything the teacher says. So I had things that helped me, and I didn't make that next step to the implant because I didn't need to, I guess. But then it kept getting worse and kept getting worse, and it got to the point junior year where even all of the assistance that I had, all of the ways I'd come up with to help myself were not enough. But even then, I didn't make that step because for several reasons. One, I was embarrassed. An implant is a very visual medical thing, and I know I shouldn't be embarrassed, but I was, and I still am sometimes. It's embarrassing to admit that, but it's hard. So I was embarrassed. The surgery was daunting, very scary. It's 6-hour surgery. The recovery is a long, months, years even, and I was too scared to make that next step. But then I saw this doctor about a year ago who told me something that was very monumental and that really changed my mind in the whole process. He said, if your hearing loss is affecting your mental health, if your hearing loss is forcing you to isolate yourself, if your hearing loss is causing you to not do things that you would normally do, if your hearing loss is having a negative effect on your outlook on life, then it's time to get an implant. And I was like, wow, that's been my life for the past 4 years, huh? And I realized, you know, wow, I should really get moving on this implant thing. What he said right there blew my mind, because that's what I had been living for years, and I just had never really realized it. So as soon as he said that, I just didn't care about the surgery anymore. I didn't care about how it would look. I knew that it was more important for me to hear, for me to be able to enjoy my life, for me to be able to communicate, than any apprehensions that I had. So that's when I decided to get the implant. We started the process, and 3 months ago, I got it. So there we go. I'll see you next week. Video number 4. Video number 2.